page 70, all right? Have your calculators ready. So the quiz will have everything we've done up until this point. So I will just review property taxes, and we will also review amortization tables. You remember that? You know what amortization tables? Remember that from vehicle finance? We'll review that. Okay, one more thing before we start. This on page 68 is in a nutshell all the parts that could be part of calculating the total property taxes on page 68. So you need to figure out your portioned assessment. So it's the value of the home times 0.45. What does it say here? I have to make sure you understand. Only if not provided. Only do this if it's not provided. If the question says, hey, the portioned assessment is this, don't do this part, okay? And then we take that portion assessment, multiply it by the mill rate for education. We take the portion assessment, we multiply it by the mill rate for the municipality. So there would be two different mill rates stated there. And then if there's an improvement of any kind, you use the frontage of the house. You multiply it by the improvement rate. And so essentially, you add up everything here and subtract your credits. Make sure you subtract your credits if there are any. Okay, let's go to 70. Could be that you already did this. Way to go. You just follow me. So in this particular case, the Lorenzo family owns a home, right? It's assessed, the land value is assessed at 121,000 and the actual home is 245. So I combine that, okay? And it says that the residence is taxed 45%. This is very standard. It's always 45% of the assessed market value. So we need to find the portion assessment. So we took the price of the house and the property, the land it's sitting on, we added that to get 366. We figure out 45% of that. This is your PA. So I'm gonna say that this is the portion assessment. That's what you're gonna have to use to figure out the rest. So what is, it's basically saying what are the annual taxes on this property? So you decide how you want to do this. I'm going to scan through my notes and see that there's a mill rate right there. That's the municipal mill rate. So let's do that one. Municipal taxes. Right? We will go 164,700. We multiply that by the mill rate. The mill rate is 12.766. So just slap that in there. But you got to make sure it's divided by 1,000. We'll calculate that in a bit. Then there's another mill rate. That's for education. So ed tax, we take the 164,700 again, and we make sure that mill rate is going to be divided by 1,000. We take the 18,395, plug it in there. That's going to be our education taxes. I'm just going to warn you, okay? Provincial exams as well. There have been times where there are 3 mill rates. And you're like, why? Because some areas in the province, their education, the way education is funded is slightly different, like especially when you're further outside the city. So then what would you do if there's a 3rd mill rate? What do you think would happen? You do this one more time. That's all. Like you take the 164,700, multiply it by whatever that other mill rate is. Right? So you do a 3rd step here. Make sure you understand that, okay? But we are only given 2 mill rates, so we just do this twice. So let's calculate that. 12.766 divided by 1,000. That gives me 2102.56. I'll do that one more time. I'm just going back on my calculator and just changing the mill rate. 395. There we go. Do it one more time. 3,029.66. Got it? What are we missing? You got to go back up and check. There's improvements. Concrete. What is it? Concrete paving. So we take our frontage, which is 42 feet. We multiply it by our rate. Is there anything else? That's it. So concrete paving is part of the improvement. We're going to get this from the pink table. Okay, from the table. Go get concrete street paving. Concrete street paving, 3932. You plug that in here. You figure out what that is. Do not multiply the 42 by the portioned assessment. You're going to get a huge number. Like your bill is going to be bigger than the house itself, right? So if you get something like that, you're like, wait a minute, I'm not going to pay $160,000 a year, right, on property taxes. Forget that, right? 39.32. And so for this improvement in your area, look at that. That's a huge expense. You know how they redid the Mountain Avenue? That's concrete street paving. So whoever lives in that area is gonna have to pay quite a bit more on their property tax bill for the next couple of years. It's funded by everybody that lives in that area. So just remember that. It's not free. Okay. So this, and this all gets added up. So taxes, 2102.56, 3029.66, and 1651.44. But don't forget, if there are credits, we take that off. And in this case, we qualify for a $700 credit, which is amazing, right? When that happens, you're going to be really happy because $700 less to pay. That is huge. So is this what my key said? I hope so. Yeah. 6,083.66. So that is your net property taxes for the year. I didn't talk about the TIP program, TIPP. I would do that. Like your bank will probably offer that to you when you buy your house. They take monthly amounts off your check right away. Well, not off your check, off your checking account. So I pay monthly. I wouldn't recommend you waiting for the big bill. Just do a monthly amount. What is this monthly? We'll divide it by 12. $507 a month. Mine isn't quite that high. Mine is probably close to 400. But can you imagine $400 a month just on property taxes? That's huge. You don't pay that when you rent. Okay? You don't have that extra bill. So keep that in mind. So picture this. When they built these condos, like a couple stories high, can you imagine that one piece of land? That one piece of land, all of those people pay property taxes. Every single one in that owns a condo. So the city actually loves high rises because when you just have a house, it's just the one house on that piece of land paying taxes, right? And then another one and another one. Versus if you just put them all together in one big high rise, you make a lot more money. So keep that in mind. That's why they want to go vertical, not horizontal. Okay. this is it for this example. So I basically have done two full-blown examples. This one was guided, where I tell you, hey, find a municipal, find the education. So this is guided, but you don't need to be told how to proceed. You just go ahead and find your portioned assessment if it's not given, and then you go ahead. Let me see here if there's one. I'm gonna tweak one here. Oh yeah, go to page 73, please. I want you to try that one. Imagine you're sitting. This is a quiz and you're sitting, but it's open book, right? So I give you a question like this. Would you know how to calculate the total property taxes if you looked at this? Try first without going back in your notes. If you're really stuck, go for it. Check your notes. But page 73 for now, there's a bit of a twist to it. If you read it, you will see it. Okay. So for page 73, I'll just do that for that way you can not say that you haven't had enough info here. So portion assessment is given already. That's called PA. Don't worry about multiplying that by 0.45. Then you figure out that there's a mill rate. So we're going to go 120 times 13.01 over 1,000. Okay? This is municipal. The order doesn't matter if you just want to calculate it in any order you want. I don't care. But if the question is specific and says, give me the education tax, make sure you do that one first, okay? So there it is. It's 1561.20 for the municipality. The ed taxes, education tax, do I need to do anything with it? It's already given, so it's actually easier on you. Get used to that, okay? Then there's the improvement. The improvement is always your frontage times what is the improvement? It's 350 per foot for lighting levy. I don't know what that is. The question gave it to you, so you just go ahead and multiply it. So that's 60 times 3.5. That's 210, and almost done here. Total would be 1561.20 plus 1903.20 plus 210. Is there a minus? Yes, there's a credit. It's not always, okay? So don't think it's always exactly the same way I do it here. Read carefully. Is that what it is? 29, 24.40. It's a dollar amount, so make sure you put the zero at the end there. And that's how you do this one. It's already given, right? So this is given. I don't know why it throws students off. So I'm just warning you. I'm trying to mix it up so that you know you're prepared for curveballs. Okay. All right. Let's do one more, and then we'll do amortization tables. So come with me. Next page. 74. By the way, the answers are on page 75. Okay. Let's write that down. Answers on page 75 at the bottom. So I didn't post the key to this, so if you want to practice, you just go ahead and do that. Okay, so the Ernest family, there's a market value assessment, right? The home is worth 100,000 and the land is worth 20,000. Watch this. The portion percentage is 45%. That's usually key for find the portion assessment. So PA is 120,000 times 0.45. So that would be 54,000 is my PA. This is important, that number. Notice next, the municipal tax rate is 22 mils. The provincial education one is 7 mils. This is what I was talking about. And the local school division is 20 mils. So there are 3 mill rates, not to fear. Okay, you just go municipal, 120 times 22 over 1,000. We'll figure that out in a bit. Then there's provincial education. Not to worry. That's 7 mils. And then there's local education. Still, what am I doing? See my mistake? Spot my mistake. 54,000, right? I'm using 120. I always wanted to use this in class. Hold on, I'm gonna have to loud enough. Today's the day I was able to use it. Anyways, anybody watch Dude Perfect? That's where I got that from. Anyways, 54,000, 54,000. Okay. And this is 20 mils. There we go. Now we're talking. A shortcut, if it's a nice round number, I just go 54, because if you divide it by 1,000, you get rid of the zeros. If this is gonna throw you off, don't worry about it. Just do it the old school way. Okay. Then it's 54 times 7. That's 378. I'm gonna do it the old school way. Nothing wrong with old school. 1,080. Okay. We're good. What am I? Oh, local improvement is 180. It's just given. So I'm going to go improvement. It's just 180. I don't even need to calculate anything. It's already there. There's no credit. So tax would be that. Samantha, you confirmed that the answer key matches, right? It matches yours? Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to copy the answer key. 2826. Boom. So what was so special about this one? 3 mill rates. Okay. So we had this mill rate, then we had the pink one, which was 7, and then there's the green one, which was for the local school division. Don't ask me why they do that, but it has happened, and be ready for it. Okay. Mill rates are your friend, not your enemy. Okay. All right. Let's go to amortization table.